What is up, my friends? It is a pleasure to be here with you. This is our Europa League preview here on Anfield Agenda. The Reds travel over to Prague to take on Sparta in the last 16 first leg. Just a reminder, we are the early kickoff time on Thursday, so the game will start at 5:45 p.m. UK and Irish time, and our watch along, of course, will begin an hour beforehand at 4:45 right here. Hope you can join us for it. So if you haven't seen the preview here on Anfield Agenda before, this is what you can expect. I'm going to go through and give you the latest on our injury concerns ahead of the game, go with the score prediction, and finish up with my predicted 11. As always, we here at Anfield Agenda want to know your thoughts. Do let us know in the comments section. Drop a like on the video, but most importantly, and I mean this sincerely, look at the top corner of the screen. 246,000 subscribers. We are counting down to 250,000, and every one of you that hits that button really does make a difference. So let's start off with the injury roundup. Well, as I'm sure you're aware, Dominic Szoboszlai and Darwin Núñez are back with the team. They obviously played some minutes at the weekend. You might not have heard, but Darwin scored a pretty important goal away against Forest, so that's obviously a big boost. Mohamed Salah is believed to be starting back training today, Tuesday, so will he be involved on Thursday or not? I guess the manager will tell us in his press conference, but at least we know he's on track to be fit and ready for the Manchester City game of the weekend. Don't even get me started, by the way, on the Egyptian FA and that whole episode. We'll cover that in more detail on the late night agenda. But other than that, I don't expect any new bodies back for Jurgen. Ryan Gravenberch looks like Ryan Gravenberch will be, I think, maybe for the weekend, but certainly not for this game by the looks of it. And then the usual ones that are out for the time being: Trent Alexander-Arnold, Curtis Jones, Joel Matip, Alisson Becker. The list goes on and on and on. Thiago Alcantara. Expect none of them back for this game. In fact, expect none of them back probably before the international break, other than maybe Gravenberch. So, with that being said, what can we expect with regards to a score? What can we think for the game? Well, Sparta Prague are no mugs. They've knocked out Galatasaray, who, of course, in the Champions League this season, they came down at a Manchester United's group in third place, and Sparta Prague beat them fairly convincingly. So I'm not thinking this is going to be a walk in the park by any stretch, but I also don't think we need to go full strength away. If we can bring them back with a draw or even a 1-goal deficit, I'd fancy us to turn it around at Anfield. Now, in saying that, of course, nobody wants to be getting a deficit in the first leg. We want to keep the positivity going at the football club. We want to keep the winning momentum going forward. So what have I gone for with my score prediction? Well, I've tried to be realistic based on the team that I'm about to uncover now in a minute. And my score prediction, my friends, is as follows. I'm going 1-1 away from home. And I tell you what, I take that and bring that back to Anfield. I know the home leg is sandwiched in between the Manchester City game and the Manchester United FA Cup game, but that being said, I fancy us to turn anybody over at Anfield. So I take the 1-1 draw right now, and that's what I'm predicting. So let me know in the comment section if you agree with me or you disagree on my score prediction. But now we come to the difficult part, and that is the starting 11 prediction. As I sit here, there are some unfounded rumours, and I have to say unfounded because we've not heard anyone legitimately say this, but it is starting to do the rounds, that Kelleher could have picked up a knock. Now, until we know that to be untrue, and I hope it is, I suspect it is, we're going to keep him in the team, but just be aware of that rumour that is doing the rounds, because people often ask me, why do I put my previews out before Klopp has his press conference? And the answer is, you needed to sit for about 2 days on the channel building up to the game for it to have the best impact. And if we did it just after the press conference, we really wouldn't have enough time to get a preview up. So I am doing this before Klopp's presser. So I'm assuming that the Kelleher news is just that nonsense. That being said, let's look, as we always do, to start off with a goalkeeper and the 2 centre-backs. So this is what I think Klopp could go with. Caoimhín Kelleher in goal, and centre-backs for me would be Quansah and Van Dijk. Van Dijk seems to be somebody that is playing in every game this season almost, and I love it. I know he only played 45 minutes last weekend and he swapped for Canade, but right now, I take it. And I like that Van Dijk is fit enough and ready enough to play in these games. So Van Dijk and Quansah for me in the centre-back positions. Obviously Kelleher in goal. Now, fear not, because Adrian is in the Europa League squad, so if indeed Caoimhín Kelleher, for, you know, whatever reason, isn't available or Klopp wants to change, Adrian is available to step in. I said fear not, I have lots of fear around it, I won't lie to you, but as we are, let's move on. So for me, Kelleher in goal, Quansah and Van Dijk. Now, fullback positions, this is what I've gone for. Costas on the left-hand side and Conor Bradley on the right-hand side. Now, I get it. We still need to make sure that Bradley's available for Man City, and I'm sure other people will have other options, but I really can't think of who else we could put in at right back. I know you're saying Joe Gomez right now, but spoiler alert, you're going to see Gomez in a minute in another position. So I think this is what we go with. Bradley at right back and Costas to come in at left back. Moving into midfield now, and this is where I think it becomes a little bit clearer. I've stuck Joe Gomez back in the defensive midfield position, not because I particularly am fond of him in that position, but because, again, I think needs must. Manchester City has to be our focus as well. So I think put Gomez in here, rest up Endo, take no chances with him. Ahead of him, I've gone for Dominic Szoboszlai. My thought process here is I think Szoboszlai will come in and do 50-55 minutes maybe, be substituted, wrapped up in cotton wool then, and ready for the Manchester City game. I think it is important that he gets minutes in his legs. The only question for me is, will they come from the start and be taken off after the hour mark, or will Jurgen Klopp do the opposite and bring him on at the hour mark? So in my team, I've played him from the start. And on the other side, Bobby Clark, who again, I think you'll agree with me, has been more than efficient since he's come into the team. So that's my midfield. I think we're going to see Joe Gomez in the defensive midfield position, and ahead of him, Dominic Szoboszlai, and of course, Bobby Clark. Now, the attacking positions, and this is where, again, it got a little bit tricky, but I think I found a solution. So what I've gone for is Harvey Elliott again on the right hand side, and on the left hand side put Cody Gakpo in his favourite position. We heard time and time again from Liverpool fans that we aren't playing him in his best position. This to me feels like an opportunity to give Gakpo a run out on the left hand side and rest up Lucho for Manchester City. The reason I have Elliott on the right here is, I've mentioned this before as well, I love the interchanging between Bradley and Elliott. Sometimes you'll see Elliott in the wider position, sometimes you'll see Bradley. The understanding they seem to have and the balance down that right hand side is something that I've really enjoyed. And whilst I believe Elliott doesn't have the pace to be a natural winger in this system, I think it will do away from home and it will keep us compact and give us the best opportunity to come back with a result. So now the only position we haven't discussed yet is, of course, through the centre. Who have I gone for here? Well, I've got to caveat this by saying Liverpool need to make a change to their B list, which they can do up until 24 hours before the game. So they will need to add this particular gentleman onto the B list. I am, of course, talking about Jayden Danns. That's who I would put through the centre to start this game. And of course, have Darwin on the bench if needs be. Mohamed Salah, I don't think, even if he's fit, he's going to start the game. Klopp may feel he wants to give him 15-20 minutes at the end. Again, just to get minutes in his legs, perhaps before Manchester City. But for me, this is the team. Kelleher in goal, Bradley at right back, Costas at left back, Joel Kwanzaa and Virgil van Dijk in your centre-back positions, Joe Gomez, Dominic Szoboszlai and Bobby Clark in midfield, with Cody Gakpo on the left, Jayden Danns through the centre and Harvey Elliott on the right. That is my predicted 11. Now remember, it is just that, a predicted 11. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you agree with my team? Do you disagree? We really do like to know how you're feeling ahead of the game. And of course, do you think I've taken some unnecessary risks, perhaps with some personnel ahead of the massive, potentially title decider against Manchester City on Sunday? So I've had my say, my friends. Over to you now. Look forward to reading your comments. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to drop a like and hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so. If you're watching this early enough on Tuesday, then I will be back tonight at 8:30 for the late night agenda, where we will absolutely be calling out Florian Plettenberg for the pack of lies that we all believe he's been telling over the past 24 or 48 hours. Until then, thank you for watching. I'll catch up with you soon. Bye bye.